Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And if you are a Dallas Cowboys fan, you are going to want to sit down for this one because this is absolutely massive news. And I am not exaggerating when I say that this could be one of the most significant defensive moves the Dallas Cowboys have made in years, and possibly one of the most significant defensive moves any team has made this entire offseason. So, buckle up because we have a lot to talk about today. And trust me, you do not want to miss a single second of this video, because the details behind this move are just as fascinating as the headline itself. So before we get into all of it, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, so you never miss any breaking Cowboys news, because we are always here, bringing you the latest and greatest when it comes to America's team. So, let us get right into it. The Dallas Cowboys are reportedly working on signing Bradley Chubb, and folks, if this goes through the way it is looking like it is going to go through, then we are talking about the Dallas Cowboys potentially having the scariest and most dominant defense in the entire National Football League. And I know that is a bold statement, but when you look at what Bradley Chubb brings to the table, and when you look at what the Cowboys already have on that side of the football, it is hard to argue against it because this defense was already talented, and this defense was already dangerous. But adding a player like Bradley Chubb takes it to an entirely different level. And we are going to break down exactly why that is, and exactly what this means for the Cowboys moving forward. Now, for those of you who may not be as familiar with Bradley Chubb, let me give you a little bit of background because this is a player who has been one of the most dominant pass rushers in the NFL when he is healthy. And that is the key phrase right there, when he is healthy, because Bradley Chubb is an absolute monster coming off the edge, and he has shown that time and time again throughout his career. So Chubb was originally drafted by the Denver Broncos with the 5th overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft out of North Carolina State, where he was an absolute beast, terrorizing offensive linemen in the ACC. And when he got to the NFL, he did not miss a beat, because in his rookie season, he recorded 12 sacks, and he looked like he was going to be one of the premier pass rushers in the league for years and years to come. And he was, and he continued to show that dominance throughout his time in Denver, before he was eventually traded to the Miami Dolphins, where he continued to be a force on that defensive front. Now, the reason Bradley Chubb is available and the reason the Cowboys are in a position to potentially sign him is because he is coming off a significant knee injury that he suffered during his time with the Miami Dolphins, and that injury kept him out for a considerable amount of time, and it ultimately led to the Dolphins making the decision to move on from him. And when a player of Bradley Chubb's caliber becomes available on the open market, you better believe that teams are going to be lining up to try to get him. And the Dallas Cowboys appear to be at the front of that line. And honestly, it makes perfect sense when you think about it from a football standpoint, because the Cowboys have been looking for ways to bolster their pass rush, and adding a player like Chubb, who when healthy is one of the most dominant edge rushers in the entire league, is exactly the kind of move that could push this defense over the top. And here is the thing that makes this so exciting for Cowboys fans. Because when you look at what the Cowboys already have on defense, it is already a stacked unit. And I mean stacked from top to bottom. This defense has playmakers at every single level, and adding Bradley Chubb to that mix is honestly almost unfair to the rest of the NFL. Because think about it for a second. You already have Micah Parsons, who is arguably the best defensive player in the entire National Football League. And I do not think that is an exaggeration at all, because Micah Parsons has been an absolute wrecking ball since the moment he stepped foot in the NFL. And he has shown the ability to rush the passer from the edge. He has shown the ability to drop back into coverage. He has shown the ability to play inside linebacker at an elite level. And he is just one of those generational talents that comes around once in a lifetime. And now, you are going to pair him with Bradley Chubb on the opposite side of that defensive line, and just think about the nightmares that is going to give opposing offensive coordinators, because you cannot double team both of those guys. At the same time, it is physically impossible, And that means one of them is going to be getting a one-on-one matchup on every single snap, and good luck to whatever offensive lineman has to deal with that. Because both of these guys are capable of beating any offensive lineman in the league in a one-on-one situation. And it is not just Micah Parsons and Bradley Chubb, because the Cowboys have other pieces on that defensive front as well. And when you add all of those pieces together, along with the secondary and the linebackers, you are looking at a defense that could genuinely be historic. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but I really do mean it, because the combination of talent that the Cowboys would have on defense, if this signing goes through, is something that we have not seen in a very long time. And it is the kind of defense that can carry a team to a Super Bowl. And I think that is exactly what the Cowboys are thinking with this move, because they know that they have a window right now, and they know that they need to maximize that window. And bringing in a player like Bradley Chubb is exactly the kind of aggressive move that shows the rest of the league that the Cowboys are serious about winning a championship. Now let us talk about the financial side of this for a moment, because I know a lot of people are going to be wondering how the Cowboys can afford to bring in a player like Bradley Chubb. And the answer is actually pretty straightforward, because since Chubb is coming off a significant injury, his market value is not going to be as high as it would be if he were completely healthy and coming off a dominant season. And that actually works in the Cowboys' favor, because it means they can potentially get him on a deal that is team-friendly, and that gives them the flexibility to continue building the rest of the roster while still adding an elite-level talent to the defense. And the Cowboys' front office has been pretty savvy when it comes to managing the salary cap in recent years, and they have shown the ability to be creative with contracts and move money around in ways that allow them to make moves like this. And I would expect this deal to be structured in a way that protects the Cowboys financially, while still giving Chubb the opportunity to earn significant money if he stays healthy and performs at the level that we all know he is capable of performing at. And speaking of staying healthy, that is obviously the biggest question mark when it comes to Bradley Chubb, because as I mentioned earlier, he has dealt with some significant injuries throughout his career, and the knee injury that he suffered with the Dolphins was a serious one, and there is always going to be some risk involved when you sign a player who is coming off that kind of injury. But here is the thing, the upside with Bradley Chubb is so incredibly high that the risk is absolutely worth it, because when this guy is healthy, he is a top 5 edge rusher in the NFL, and that is not me being hyperbolic. That is just the reality of the situation, because we have seen what he can do when he is on the field, and he is a game changer in every sense of the word, and the Cowboys' medical staff is going to do their due diligence and make sure that his knee is in good shape before they finalize anything. And if they are comfortable with where he is physically, then this is a no-brainer of a signing. Now let us talk about the scheme fit, because this is something that I think a lot of people are overlooking. And it is actually one of the most important aspects of this potential signing, because it is not just about having talented players on the roster. It is about having talented players who fit the scheme and who complement each other. And Bradley Chubb fits what the Cowboys are trying to do on defense, like a glove, because Dan Quinn built this defense around versatility and the ability to create pressure from multiple spots. And adding Chubb gives them another chess piece that they can move around and use in different ways. And imagine the looks that the Cowboys defense could throw at opposing offenses with both Micah Parsons and Bradley Chubb on the field at the same time, because you could line them up on the same side, you could put them on opposite sides, you could drop one of them into coverage while the other one rushes the passer, you could bring both of them on a blitz and just unleash hell on the quarterback. The possibilities are honestly endless, and that is what makes this combination so terrifying for the rest of the NFL. And let us not forget about the impact that this signing would have on the rest of the defense, because when you have two elite pass rushers like Micah Parsons and Bradley Chubb getting after the quarterback, it makes life so much easier for the guys in the secondary, because quarterbacks are going to be under pressure on almost every single drop back. And when quarterbacks are under pressure, they make mistakes. They throw interceptions, they take sacks, they throw the ball away, and all of those things are good for the defense, and it creates a ripple effect that benefits every single player on that side of the football. And the Cowboys already have talented players in the secondary who have shown the ability to make plays on the football. And when you combine that with an elite pass rush, you are looking at a defense that can absolutely suffocate opposing offenses. And that is exactly what you need if you want to make a deep run in the playoffs and compete for a Super Bowl. And I want to talk about what this means for Micah Parsons specifically, because I think this signing could actually elevate his game to an even higher level. And I know that sounds crazy, because Micah Parsons is already playing at an insanely high level. But hear me out, because right now, opposing offenses can game plan specifically for Micah Parsons. They can slide protection his way, they can chip him with tight ends and running backs, and they can do everything in their power to limit his impact on the game. But when you add Bradley Chubb to the equation, all of a sudden offenses cannot devote all of those resources to stopping Micah Parsons, because they have to worry about Chubb on the other side as well. And that means Parsons is going to be seeing more one-on-one matchups and more favorable situations than he has ever seen before. And that is absolutely terrifying for the rest of the league. Because if you think Micah Parsons has been dominant so far, just wait until you see what he looks like when he is getting clean, one-on-one rushes on a consistent basis, because the sack numbers are going to be through the roof. Now, I also want to address the elephant in the room, because I know there are going to be some people out there who are skeptical about this move and who are going to say that the Cowboys should be focusing on other areas of the roster. And I understand that perspective, and I respect it, but I think those people are missing the bigger picture, because in today's NFL, having an elite pass rush is arguably the most important thing you can have on defense. And history has shown us time and time again that the teams that can get after the quarterback are the teams that win championships. And the Cowboys are clearly trying to build a defense that can dominate in the trenches and dominate on the edge. And signing Bradley Chubb is a statement move that tells the rest of the league that the Cowboys are all in on building a championship-caliber defense. And let us talk about the NFC landscape for a moment, because the Cowboys play in one of the toughest divisions in football, and they face some really good offenses throughout the course of the season. And having a defense that can match up with those offenses is absolutely critical. And when you look at the quarterbacks that the Cowboys are going to have to face in the NFC, whether it is Jalen Hurts and the Eagles or whoever else they are going to face in the playoffs, having two elite edge rushers like Parsons and Chubb, who can get after those quarterbacks and disrupt the timing of the passing game, is going to be a massive advantage. And it could be the difference between winning and losing in those big games. And I think the Cowboys front office understands that. And that is why they are making this move, because they know that in order to get over the hump and finally win that elusive Super Bowl, they need to have a defense that can shut down the best offenses in the league, and adding Bradley Chubb to a defense that already features Micah Parsons gives them the best chance to do that. And I want to circle back to something I mentioned earlier about the potential for this defense to be historic, because I truly believe that if Bradley Chubb can stay healthy and perform at the level we know he is capable of performing at, then this Cowboys defense could be talked about in the same breath as some of the greatest defenses in NFL history. And I know that is a lofty comparison, but when you look at the talent on this roster, and when you look at the potential for this defense to absolutely dominate opposing offenses, it is not that far-fetched, and Cowboys fans have been waiting for a defense like this for a long time, and it looks like it might finally be coming together, and that is incredibly exciting. Now, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below, because I want to know what you think about this potential signing. Do you think Bradley Chubb is the missing piece that the Cowboys defense needs to become the best defense in the NFL? Do you think the injury risk is worth the potential reward? And how many sacks do you think the combination of Micah Parsons and Bradley Chubb can combine for in a single season? Because I think the number could be absolutely ridiculous. And I want to hear your predictions. So drop them in the comments below and let us have a conversation about it. And before I wrap this up, I just want to say that this is the kind of move that gets you excited about the upcoming season, because as a Cowboys fan, you have been waiting for the front office to make a splash and to show the rest of the league that they are serious about winning, and signing Bradley Chubb is exactly that kind of splash move. And it sends a message to every team in the NFL that the Dallas Cowboys are coming, and they are coming with a defense that is going to be absolutely terrifying to face. And I cannot wait to see what this defense looks like on the field, because on paper, it is as good as any defense in the league. And if the Cowboys can translate that talent into production on the field, then we are in for a very special season. So that is going to do it for this video, folks. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you are as excited about this news as I am, because this is the kind of move that can change the trajectory of a franchise. And I truly believe that the Cowboys are building something special on defense, and adding Bradley Chubb to the mix could be the move that puts them over the top. So make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell, and make sure you share this video with every Cowboys fan. Because this is breaking news and everybody needs to hear about it. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.